Hello and welcome to the Art of Decluttering podcast. I'm your host, Amy Revell. Welcome. It's so good to be with you. If you haven't yet listened to last week's podcast episode with Dana K. White, I want you to go back in your feed after you've listened to this episode and listen to it. We talked all about her new children's book, Winnie's Pile of Pillows. And even though it's a children's book and we talk a lot about engaging children in decluttering in the episode, I've had multiple adults reach out to me with no children in their lives to say, Amy, that conversation with Dana was so incredible. It changed the way that I see things. It was really transformational. And so I want to take the opportunity to say, if you haven't gone and listened to it, jump back in the feed and make sure you do that. It's a really great episode and I think it'll be helpful for you. It'll be helpful for the little people in your world if you have them as well. Today's episode is all about want, need, and excess. And so what we're going to do is we're going to categorize the stuff in our home. I had the idea, I was listening to, I was reading a blog from the minimalists the other day. And one of the things they did is they categorized and said everything kind of falls into three categories, kind of your essential things, the things that you want and you use to live a good life. And then you've got the excess and the clutter. And I played around with this idea a little bit in my mind over the last couple of days and thought, yeah, it's really actually helpful for some people to see things within this lens. Do you see things like, what do I actually need? And sometimes we conflate that and we think we need all the things, but actually when you drill it down, what do you actually need? And that you're going to keep what you need. You've got, what do I want? What is it that will help me to live a good life, a life with good well-being and a life I enjoy, things I like around me. And you've got this, like, this is what I want. This is kind of the desires that I have. And that's good as well. And then you've got this excess, and that's for things that you actually don't need. You don't need them, that you don't use them. They're adding stress to your life. You don't have space for them. And so by being able to kind of categorize, I hope that this is just one other tool that you can add into your way of thinking about the stuff in your home. So we're going to start off with talking about things that we need. And my challenge, because I can be a little bit of a black and white thinker, as some of you know, is that when I think like, what do I need? I can get like really reductive. I need like a toothbrush, a pair of shoes, a sleeping bag, a tent, and an outfit, and maybe some food. But actually, like, that's not the reality of the life that I live in Melbourne, Australia, and probably not the life that you live either. The needs that I have help me to live well and safe. So for me, that's like, I need a fridge. I need a car so I can get to work and connect in my community. I need a phone so that I can work and stay connected to family and friends. I need stuff like crockery and cutlery. I need a microwave. I need an oven. I need clothes. I need shoes. So I've got all of these things that I need. Now, when we categorize it like that, we think like, I need shoes. It can be tempting to think, well, I need all the shoes. But what I want you to think about in the what do I need is, like, I was thinking about shoes and thought, I actually probably only need 2 pairs of shoes. For where I live in Melbourne, I need probably a pair of summer shoes, like a pair of sandals or something like that. And I need probably a pair of runners or sneakers that I can wear in the colder months or when I'm exercising or when I just want a closed toe pair of shoes. I probably need 2 pairs of shoes. When it comes to my crockery, there's 4 people in my family. So what do I need? I need 4 bowls. I need 4 plates. I need 4 forks and knives and spoons. And so this need category, once you actually drill down a little bit, it gets quite small. Some of the other needs that I wrote down was toiletries. So I need soap. I need shampoo and conditioner. I need a hair comb. I don't have a brush because I don't need a brush with this wild hair, but I need medications. So there's some medications that you might need. And what else did I put down? Oh, a bed. Like, come on, you need a bed. And so there's these things that you need to live safe and to live well in your home. And then we move on to the wants. And what I don't want you to do is think, well, the needs are good. I need the needs. But the wants, oh, they're a bit dodgy. Like, it's a bit flush of me. No. It is important to have these wants in your life. When you come to the needs, let me just jump back. One thought that I just had is when you're looking at the needs and these essentials that you need in order to live well and safe and function well, sometimes they're the items that you want to invest a bit of money in. So in our home, there's a couple of things that we've invested money in on our needs. So we have good bed sheets. We're in our beds a lot, and it's really nice to sleep well. We've invested in good mattresses, and we've also got good pillows for all of us. And so they're those need areas that for me, it is worth investing some money in. And so, whatever that is for you, maybe it's like a car, and you're like, well, cars are expensive, but I want to invest my money in getting good insurance or getting a car that's safe and reliable. And so, as you kind of think around these needs, what do I need? Often there is like, oh, I need a couch to sit on so I can be with my family and I can read my book, and I just need a couch, and you want to have a comfortable couch. So, it might be an area that you do spend a little bit more money in on those needs. Now, when it comes to wants, these are good things too. So the wants are things that you enjoy and you use. So I wrote a list of some wants that we have in our house that I enjoy. We have a piano. I love our piano. Elijah plays our piano literally hours every day. And I get so much joy from listening to him play the piano. I had a piano in my home growing up. We had an upright piano. We've got an electric piano now. And I would play when I was younger, hours and hours every day. And my mum used to say to me, I love it when you play the piano. So the piano is absolutely not a need in our home, but it is something we love and we really enjoy. And it's a want. And if something happened to that piano, I'd probably go out and buy another one. Another thing in our home that we consider a want is a TV. We have a TV in our family room. We also have personal devices. So each person in our family has a mobile phone and a laptop. It's because we study or we work and we want to connect. It's how the kids might play games on them. So it is like, again, it's a want. We don't have to have a laptop each. We could, if we needed to, we could share one between two of us, but what's the want? The want is that we want to have ability to enjoy entertainment, to listen to music, to do all of those good things. Something else that is a want in our house is art. And look, I might as well add in plants while I'm at it, but I love really beautiful art and I love having house plants around my house. Are they essential? Absolutely not. Do I love them? 100%. And so those are things that I want. I want them. I don't need more plants, but you can bet your bottom dollar I will buy more plants when I see something that I love and have a space for in my home. Um, okay, let's go back to those shoes. So we talked about the need being maybe 2 pairs of shoes. I had to think about it and thought my want is probably the next 6 pairs. So it's the pair of thongs. It's the pair of Ugg boots. So I've got nice toasty feet in the winter. It's a pair of boots. It's a pair of high heels. It's a second pair of sneakers in a different color wave. And so, yes, you have the essentials and the needs of a couple of pairs of shoes, but it's totally fine to also have the want of a little bit more. And so these wants is a really sweet spot for the possessions that you keep. What we want to try and do is not have that overflow into the excess. And that can happen in any category. So you can easily go from this is the thing I have as a need and now I have it as excess. I want you to think about your spare room. How many of you have a bed for each human that lives in your home that needs to sleep in a bed? But you also have an excess bed that actually nobody sleeps in. And you'd be pushed to think if somebody has slept in it in the last 2 years. So a bed can be, yep, I need it. And a bed can also be excess. And same for your crockery. Like we said, what do you need? Maybe 4 bowls and plates. What do I have? What's our want? We have a set of 12. We like to have friends and family over, and I like to be able to just pull out that one set of crockery that suits everybody, works for everybody. If I'm hosting more than 12 people, I'll probably go for disposable, or I will ask someone to bring some with them. But what does excess look like with your crockery? Well, that's when you've got maybe 30 different mismatched plates that don't stack properly, that you don't actually need. And so you've gone from, it's not that you need them, it's not even that you want them or like them or use them, or even, to be honest, that you have the space for them, but they've really moved into excess. And so excess is things like books that you're not going to read again. How many books do you need? You might say there's one book that I need. Maybe it's a spiritual or religious book for you, or a book that you wrote, or a book that's got childhood. You're like, I need that book. That book is part of my identity and I rely on it and use it a lot. How many books do you want? Okay, maybe there's 15 books that you really love that you want to keep a copy of. But when does it become need to excess. And the excess is all those books you're never going to read again that are just cluttering up your shelves and gathering dust. Nobody else can read them because they are stuck on your bookshelf doing nothing. Bedding for beds that you don't have. So we talked about having that excess bed. What if you've got all this excess linen, and it might be for beds you don't even have anymore? That's when we get to excess. And I want you to be able to use this as a filter to look through, and you look at something and say, is that item a need, a want, or excess? And it kind of has to fit into one of those three categories: a need, a want, or excess. Another area of excess that I see in pretty much every home that I go into is hobbies that you used to like or you thought you would like. You guys know at the start of the year, I was like, this is the year of Amy learning to crochet. I tried, I didn't like it. It wasn't natural for me. I had to concentrate too much, and so I stopped. It would have been really tempting for me to just keep all the crocheting. I mean, I only bought 2 kits, so it's not like I bought a lot of stuff, but it's really tempting to put that aside. I think maybe I will come back to it. Maybe that's something that I will learn to love, and I don't want to waste the $15 maybe that I spent on the supplies. Now, that's one category for me. For you, that might be 15 or 30 or 60 different categories of this hobby that I decided I wanted to buy some beautiful markers, and now they're sitting in the back of a drawer. And then I decided I wanted to learn how to mosaic, and so there's tiles and tile cutters. And then you wanted to bake, and so you bought all the baking stuff, and then you wanted to make soap. It goes on and on. And in clients' homes, this sway from the need, I want a hobby, which is a great thing. Hobbies are awesome. It's great to have a place to express your creativity and to make things and learn new skills. But when that goes from a want to an excess is when you are no longer paying any attention to all of that stuff that you bought for your hobby. And so it might be time just to get rid of it. That excess is what weighs you down. The needs, okay, you've just got to have them. Get something good quality, get something that's going to last, get something that really makes your life safe and functional and enjoyable. And then look at the wants. Like, this want section is actually a really lovely area of freedom, because you've got the freedom to spend the money, the freedom to make space to store it. When something is a want, it's important that you make space for it. Like, it's important enough that you give it a home. It's important enough that you look after it, that you know where it is, that you have the resources available. And when it becomes to, I forgot I even owned that. Oh, that's right. I remember when we used to be back into whatever that hobby is that you did, you've probably kicked over into excess. The other area of excess that I see a lot is paper clutter and effectively just rubbish in the home. Broken toys, cardboard boxes, rubbish in bedrooms. And you may think, oh, I don't have that much rubbish in my house. But if I gave you a garbage bag and said, if you can fill this with rubbish, I'll give you $100, I reckon you could do it. So grab that garbage bag. I'm afraid I'm not going to Venmo you all $100. However, it is a great way to see if it was on the line and I had to fill this garbage bag, could I? That's complete excess. That other excess is that paperwork. Like, you've just got so much paperwork in your house. It is not making your life better. How can you really reduce that level of paperwork? I've got a paperwork course. If you are stuck and you don't know what paperwork to keep or how to keep it or how to make decisions, what kind of system is sustainable, my paperwork course is a really great resource. It's only $97 Australian. And so I'm going to put a link to that in the show notes. Jump on, grab that. You get lifetime access, and it takes you through every single piece of paper in your entire home, and it helps you decide what to do with it. Whether you are running a really simple home and it's maybe just you and you're renting, and so you don't have a lot of paperwork, it works for you. It works if you've got a busy household with disabilities, with financial complexities. It works for you. If you're running a massive business, it also works for you. And so that could be a little resource to help you go, I can see there's some needs in my paperwork, like maybe my birth certificate, maybe when I purchased my car, some house documents. What have I got that's need? Maybe you've got some birthday cards that fit into need. Maybe you've got a certificate of achievement. Maybe you've got a degree that you've earned. So all these things are like needs. I want to keep, wants. I want to keep that piece of paper. I want it because it's important to me, that drawing that someone made for me. And then you would probably not be surprised that a lot of it falls into excess. And so when you tackle a category like your wardrobe, what do you need? You need undies, but how many do you need? You need bras, but how many do you need? You need socks, you need shoes, you need a jacket, but how many do you need? And how many do I want? How much do you actually have space for? You might want 15 beautiful trench coats. You have space for 3. You have space for 1. And so the available space that you have is also going to work towards determining what the excess looks like. If you don't have space to store it, it is excess. If you do not have space to store it, it's automatically excess. Unless you're going to build another room on your house to keep whatever this thing is, it's excess and you don't actually have space for it. So when you're going through, use this 3-way finder to go, is it something that I actually really need? Is it something that I want? It's bringing me joy. I'm enjoying this thing. It fills my life. It's good for my well-being. Or is it excess? And actually, this is where I need to pay attention to declutter the excess. And you can then go and use all the tools that I share in the podcast across other episodes to go through and go and do that decluttering and set up the systems and organize it well. But don't be fooled into thinking that you need everything. You need very little. In fact, if I came into your home and just left you with what you need, it would feel like you'd gone maybe to an Airbnb where you've got a suitcase of stuff, you've got the basics in your kitchen, you've got a washing machine and maybe a couple of outdoor settings. You're an Airbnb. That's the stuff that you kind of need. And if I came into your home and removed all that, you'd probably think, oh, this feels really nice. But then after a week or two, you'd think, but I've lost my personality. And so that's where these wants start to come back in. It's like, I want art. I want to have a really pretty jumper that I feel great in. I want a pair of slippers. I want a rug on the floor because it makes the room feel nice. So have a think about, what is it that I actually need? What is it that I want? And these are good things and I can enjoy it. And what has moved into excess? And it's time that I move on. If you've got an idea for a podcast episode, I would love to hear it. Just drop a note in the comments, send me a DM, email me at amy@theartofdecluttering.com.au. Just contact me and let me know. So thank you for joining me. It is always a pleasure to be with you. Until next week, enjoy the freedom.